Madridistas, I know we are feeling good because I am feeling good. And remember, I said I had canceled all my future therapy sessions. Well, I'm still okay. I'm still good. We were home at the Santiago Bernabéu and we had a 4-1 victory over Real Sociedad, and I love it. Do not allow anyone to downplay this win, okay? Because for context, going into this game, Real Sociedad were 11 games unbeaten, 11 consecutive games unbeaten. All right. And during that time, they defeated FC Barcelona and they drew at Atletico Madrid. So that was a massive win for Real Madrid. But there are also a lot of other things that I like, and I'm going to start with Alvaro Abaloa and the things he did. And that is, there was a structural approach to this game that I actually love. All right. That is the 4-4-2 formation. Well, if you've been following this show, you know my favorite is the diamond. But I have come to accept that the flat 4-4-2 is also okay because that is the closest thing to the 4-4-2 diamond that enables the performance of our players. Okay. So as a team, it brings us defensive stability. It allows us to play a game, which I believe it is transition counter-attacking system. But for us to identify a formation to begin with, because I see formation like the skeleton, all right? And I see the selection as the muscles that you need to put to the skeleton to start to form the human being. And of course, your system are like the organs for the team to function. So now, if our system is the flat 4-4-2, it is amazing. And what I also saw against Real Sociedad that I like so much was the optional formations in transition, right? Because it was like a 4-3-1-2 in transition where Aragule was supposed to be behind Vinny Jr. and Gonzalo Garcia, or a 4-3-3, depending on the attacking ship, right? In a particular moment in time where he is playing as a right winger on that side. So for Aragule, because it was Chouameni and Aragule, right? So for Aragule, it was like going this way in a 4-3-1-2 transition behind Vinny and Gonzalo Garcia, and going that way in a 4-3-3 transition where he is like the right winger. Now, I'm going to get to his performance actually when I get to what I call the player's microscope, all right, in a bit. But let me stick with what I like about the flat 4-4-2. I've been saying when you have players now, not Gonzalo Garcia, because when we play Gonzalo Garcia as a center forward, we know what he can do in terms of initiating the press, and we know the best form of defense starts in attack, right? You attack, and your defensive shape becomes better. So you have to start from up there, and that is what we get from Gonzalo Garcia. But we don't get that from Kylian Mbappe. And that is excusable because he is Kylian Mbappe. But when we have Vini and Kylian Mbappe, we are missing that. All right. And that is the reason why we should be playing guys that are able to provide that defensive coverage for Kylian Mbappe and Vini Jr. So with Eduardo Camavinga on that left side, Fede Valverde on the right side, and the two midfielders of Chouameni and Aragule, we looked really fine. Now, we know when Jude is available, Kylian Mbappe is healthy, fit, and ready to go. Those guys are starters. So for me, what I'm looking at here is Alvaro Abaloa. He has a decision to make. And one decision he was getting completely wrong is playing Gonzalo Garcia as a right winger. I think he has abandoned it, and I hope that is the case because playing Gonzalo Garcia as a right winger does not add a single value to the team. The team is no way effective, and as a matter of fact, it's a waste of substitution. If you want to play Gonzalo Garcia, play him as a center forward. I think we have seen enough already. We saw that in the Club World Cup. We saw that against Real Betis in the absence of Kylian Mbappe. We also saw that yesterday in the absence of Kylian Mbappe against Real Sociedad. So, of course, he's not a better player uh, than Kylian Mbappe. He's far, far, far away, right, from the level that Kylian Mbappe is. But for some reason, the team is kind of functional, right? A lot better when he is playing. And when he plays with Kylian Mbappe, he doesn't really play well, even if he plays as a center forward because Kylian Mbappe is not occupying the right spaces. But when he plays with Vinicius Jr., I think the kid is excelling a lot more. So now that is Alvaro Abaloa's problem to attend to. But what I saw about our flat 4-4-2, I think Alvaro Abaloa will have to make some tough decisions because I still have problems with Aragule. Aragule in the deeper part of the midfield, in that interior part of that midfield, is a problem. It is a problem. And there are a couple of things. Again, I don't want to rush this. I'm going to take my time when I get to a player's microscope, and I'll talk on, Arda Güler. Now, first half performance was really, really, really good. Second half, we fell off a little bit, and I don't like it. All right, when you are dominating a game, when you're having chances, you have to be clinical. You have to put them away because you have to get used to scoring goals. Because there are gonna be games where you're not gonna create as many chances as you did against Real Sociedad. All right, but if you're used to finishing those chances, you're clinical enough. So if you create maybe two or three, maybe one big one, two big chances, you're putting those chances away, and that is how you're gonna go on and win games. So overall, the performance was encouraging. I like the substitutions by Alvaro Arbeloa, Rudiger, and Trent coming out because they are just getting back from injury, and also Alaba, I should say, sorry, and Danny Carvajal were able to get some playing time. Now, I think there were rumors out there about Alaba being angry, upset because he's not playing enough, and Danny Carvajal the same thing. I don't know how true this is, okay? But I just want to say, Alaba, you are like a fifth choice center back because Alaba can't offer us anything else. All right, Militao get fit today. I'm going to take Militao over Alaba. Of course, Rudiger, Dinhausen, Asensio. So yes, Alaba, you're fifth choice center back. You should not be even talking about complaining. Now, I don't know how true that is, but it is out there. But he should not be complaining about playing time. For Danny Carvajal, I'm sorry, but what we are seeing from Trent, he brings a whole different dynamic to the way we play. All right. So yes, you'll be having your playing time, but I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold has to be a starter. And if you're Alvaro Arbeloa, if you misunderstand that, then you're up for some problems. But at the end of the day, the substitutions, I think, were good enough. I would love to see Ceballos come on for Arda Güler and play some minutes with Aurelien Tchouameni because I think Ceballos plays better in a deeper part of the midfield. And I would love to see that combination with Tchouameni because the past two games in Valencia and today as well, yesterday against Real Sociedad, I think Tchouameni played really well. And from my observation, it was more of defensive responsibility on him, right? Because, he doesn't really contribute a lot offensively. And when he goes further up the pitch, he's not speed enough to recover. So that is not his strength. But if you ask Tchouameni to stay closer to the center backs, he is able to intercept passes. He can read the game. He's a very intelligent player. All right. He does that very well. And he's able to block shots. He's able to make clearances and things like that. And he's able to make, those initial passes. That is what he can do. Now, if our center backs are advancing the ball, well, then he can slide into the center back position. And I think Aurelien Tchouameni should be able to do that. So that is why I like that flat 4-4-2, right? It's like players are in positions where they can be really successful, with exceptions of few. So now, that is going to take me to a player's microscope. So let us put some of these players under the microscope. Of course, Thibaut Courtois is good, all right? No worries. Now, Trent Alexander-Arnold, like I said, he has to be the starting center right back. That is no brainer because Trent can make passes. Diagonal passes that is just going to bring our attackers into attacking actions right away. And like I said, this is a transition team. This is a team that has players that should be looking forward to taking advantage of transition, counter-attacking opportunities. And that is what you get from Trent. You don't get that from Danny Carvajal. So when Trent is fit and he can play for as long as he can play, then he should be playing. End of story. All right. And what I saw yesterday against Real Sociedad, and I've been saying that on the show, is Trent can go into the inside part of the midfield, and Alvaro Arbeloa touched on that in his post-match conference as well, right? When he does, Federico Valverde is covering the right back positions, and that is amazing. So it's not something we should be worrying about. Oh, well, Trent has some limitations defensively and whatnot. Okay, it's a genuine concern, but that is the reason why you have Fede Valverde. And in the absence of Trent and Carvajal, we saw what we got from Federico Valverde as a right back. So in terms of providing that coverage to allow Trent Alexander-Arnold to go to the inside part of the midfield and be able to pick passes, shouldn't be a problem. So that is good. While, Danny Carvajal will continue to develop his game because he's been out for a very, very, very long time. And Raul Asensio, all right, you're good. Rudiger was okay. Dinhausen, he started really well, was impressive, Club World Cup, but now I think he's been consistently underperforming. All right, and forget about the penalty that was reckless, in fact, that he gave away. But I think he needs to get better. Alvaro Carreras, boom, absolutely amazing. And I don't know what the problem was about Abaroa. If Carreras is healthy, we don't want to see Eduardo Camavinga play in that left back position at all. Now, here comes the problem. Traoré is okay, all right? If his responsibility is to really keep things tight defensively. Now, we need another midfielder. Either Jude Bellingham plays as a left midfielder, and then Camavinga plays at in the inside left part of the midfield alongside Chouameni, or Jude Bellingham plays in the inside left side of the midfield like he was doing at Borussia Dortmund, and then Camavinga stays outside left. But either ways, that is going to work because defensively, that is good coverage because Camavinga and Jude Bellingham, they have the work hits to provide a coverage for Carreras as well as to make up for Vini Jr.'s defensive limitation. So that is okay. Same thing on the right-hand side here with Federico Valverde making up for Kylian Mbappe. So I'm totally fine with that flat 4-4-2, but the only adjustment I think that we need to make is Aragule needs to go to the bench when everybody is healthy and available. And if you're Alvaro Arbeloa, if you want to play Aragule, you have to play Aragule in an advanced position on the pitch. And for me, that means also when you're playing Gonzalo Garcia, he has to play as a center forward, but not as a right winger. And if that is the case, you might consider switching the formation a little bit. Maybe Kylian Mbappe is playing as a second striker to Gonzalo Garcia. And if you don't want to do that, stop. Do not play Gonzalo Garcia as a right winger and do not bring him for just 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes when he's under pressure. He's not performing. You're taking his confidence away. And now all of a sudden, Gonzalo Garcia is not a good player. No, Gonzalo Garcia is an awesome center forward. We saw that all the way from Club World Cup and even up to yesterday against Real Sociedad. We saw what he did against Real Betis. So Gonzalo Garcia is a good player. All right. So in games when Kylian Mbappe or Vini Jr. or whatever supposedly superstar is not playing well, please, Alvaro Arbeloa, feel free to just take them out and give other players opportunities, whether it is 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but just enough time for them to be able to go on and impact games, all right? And that is where I will stop. I know there are a lot of things to talk about, but I don't really want to make it long. You know, from time to time, we'll be talking about where I think we're playing well and what needs to be adjusted and what not. But until then, stay blessed and peace out. Catch you later.